to be guided down the right path or to end up at faith immediately. And I think that's why an entire generation of kids who didn't grow up with two parents in the home would rather listen to an Andrew Tate. And the conservative movement does not always understand that. And I think that that's not a good thing. And that's why I loved when I heard you just say what you believe, because I'm like, if that, because I believed that you believed it.
Right.
And I'm like, great. Now we invite her in and talk to her about where she's been and what made her wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So starting with the slut walk.
But wake up to what though? Like, I mean, we're gonna listen to a little bit more of this interview. We'll do it together. I noticed I got a lot of comments on my last I wasn't really even gonna cover this again, but once I saw the comments, I said, well, let me go ahead and cover it one more time for people to really understand where I'm coming from. I do love the dialogue in the comments, though. I love it so much. So thank you, everybody, even dissenting voices, whatever. That's when it's more fun, right? But why don't we listen a little bit more? And then I want to make it very clear the point that I'm making.
Because I was frantically against the slut walk, talked about it many times in my old show. I'm going to just...
I know, I remember.
Oh, I was like, I was anti-slut walk.
A part of it I am not proud of. Another part of it I agree with. And the part that I do agree with is that there are a lot of girls in high school or college, right, young girls, that are literally called derogatory names for no reason at all. They're not even doing anything. I was one of those girls. I was a late bloomer. My kids are 11 and 4. I have friends that have like 25-year-olds. So, you know, I do think that sometimes that is an issue where you bully girls because you're insecure, or maybe she might like another boy or something like that. So that was one piece in there, if I'm not mistaken, where the girl said that, but then she said dick or badge or whatever, who cares, or something like that. That's the only thing I still do agree with, but the other stuff I just... And you know what, Candace, too, listen, when it comes to sex workers, I'm still for sex workers. And when I say that, I mean that I understand it's not easy to just say, stop. Don't do this anymore. You're better than this, right? We can all say that all day, but there has to be a solution for why they should stop, you know, or maybe the money that they did make through sex work, or the umbrella of sex work, like stripping and stuff, was not actually sex, and create businesses for themselves or something like that, you know? So I have empathy for women like that, because I was that girl. My dreams and aspirations in life were not to be a dancer. But I grew up poor, and my mom had mental health issues, and, you know, we were homeless when I was really young, and my neighborhood was drug dealers and strippers, you know? So that was my lifelong dream. And then when I became famous, everyone just pointed the finger at me and was like, you used to be a stripper. We remember you, you know? And then that made like the whole internet and stuff. And then I had to just live with that. And over time, I embraced it with my slut walk, because it was the only way to survive. I was like in survival mode, because initially I'm like, hey guys, I grew up poor, and they're like, shut up, you were a stripper, shut up, you know? So I'm like, okay, well, no one cares why. So what else is there left for me to do? I have to just own it, which I think is what Cardi B does often. She has to own it and act like we all have to act like we love it.
All right. Let me help her out a little bit. And I'm not saying I'm helping her out with her life story. Okay. What I'm about to say, let me be very clear. I know there's a reason that people do things. Okay. I'm not coming for the reason. I'm not even coming for the decision. Understand that my position from the last video is not me saying, oh, this girl can never be, you know, a better person, or can never mature from her decisions, or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I was saying was, why parade her on stage when she's still not supposed to be representing what this party is supposed to represent? This does not mean you can't be a part of the party. But again, that's like somebody saying to me, that's like somebody saying, yesterday I read the Bible, I'm open to it, like, thank you, Jesus, you know, I'm ready to follow your ways, Lord, and I love you, God, right? And then now that same person, the next day, they're gonna be like, all right, now teach a sermon. That's how I feel. Or all right, now we're gonna pull this as the best example of what God has done for. Like, come on, this is not. This is simply what I'm saying. I'm saying that the conservatives, the Republicans, want to win so bad they didn't care, and they did whatever. Coming back to what she was saying, she's still defending this walk. Here's the thing. You had a personal situation. Like, look, nobody should have been coming at her and saying, oh, you're just a stripper, and forget you or whatever like that. And I'm not saying anybody should have did that at all. I think that's ridiculous. And I think I do remember some of those smears or whatever. Everybody has a past. But when you take that pain, that hurt that you're feeling, and then now you promote it, and then now you get a bunch of chicks, females, women who you see in that clip are lost in the sauce. Yes, they are. And why they're lost in the sauce, this isn't me judging, right? And you know what? I'll explain why they're lost in the sauce in a bit.
See, this is very interesting. So for those who were not introduced to Amber Rose before the RNC, Amber Rose was introduced to the world because you were dating Kanye West.
Yes,
and it
15
was
years ago.
15 years ago, and
Yeah.
it became this big thing. Kanye West is dating a stripper, and suddenly you became famous, like basically overnight.
Yeah.
And
Well, he didn't know that I was a stripper at all
oh,
when he met me.
I didn't know this.
So the misconception is that he met me at the strip club.
I thought that my whole life until right now.
No, he never met me at the strip club. I was actually a model. I was signed with Ford Models. I got booked for a music video called RoboCop on 808 and Heartbreak.
Okay.
Although that album is not about me. The My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is about me. That's also another misconception. That's about his ex-fiance. So I got booked for a job, and then we fell in love, and we were together for like 2 years.
Yeah.
It was a good time, and it was a great time in pop culture, and we really did have a lot of fun for a long time. But yes, he did not meet me in the strip club. So when me and him started to get to know each other, I was like, hey, I just want to be honest, because I could tell that we had feelings for each other. I am actually a dancer back in the Bronx. I lived in the Bronx at the time. Funny, me and Cardi worked at the same spot, just different times, because I'm older than her.
Oh.
And
And Candace being so hype about this story is just really weird to me. Like, the whole thing, right? Like, okay, like, what is going on? Like, now Candace, like, okay. It is not easy to take a certain position on things. Hence the comments, guys. Thanks again. And by the way, if you like these clips, I don't care how controversial they are or aren't, I do appreciate the comments. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and the notification bell. Okay. So I want to be clear again. And this is the last time I'm clear. It is not about being judgmental. Oh, you're just judging people. You're just so judgy and all of that. Like, no. I have to judge myself too, because I saw some people saying you don't have a right to judge or whatever. No, yeah, I have my own stuff going on. So now you become a slave to that, right? That's what it's like it's like a vice, right? Okay. So I go back to these females. So they're not happy that way. They're not. It's okay. Your body is a holy temple, but that goes for all of us. So yeah, I know I have my flaws. I'm working on my flaws. No, I should not be walking around here, overweight or whatever. I make that very clear. Okay. I'm working on that because I want to represent the Lord the best way possible. Now, again, Amber's not a Christian, right? But that's the whole thing. She's not. Candace has her on the show as if Amber has come out and made some statements that something has changed. What's really changed is that she's fiscally responsible, right? She's fiscally responsible, and she like when I say fiscally responsible, wanting to vote for a Republican, understanding that the money will stay home just a little bit more than it will do other things, just a little bit more too, by the way. But anyway, she's not falling for the hype. I get it. Like, I get it. Have her on a show in the sense of like, you know what happened? Like, you're not falling for the hype. You're not in that Democratic plantation or whatever. I'm totally, totally down with that.
Misinformation on the web about
Yes.
this when everyone after you got kicked in the head by the left, then the right came in and said, no, we're going to kick you too.
Yeah.
And look, we found her and she's on OnlyFans and she's literally just doing this because she wants a bunch of people to sign up to her OnlyFans.
Right.
And I was like, I feel like there's more to the story because the girl that I just spoke to on the phone was very genuine.
Right.
So can you explain to everybody why there was an OnlyFans account? Because of course the people that were coming at
available
you
now.
yeah, actually had not paid to see whether or not you were posting sex content or what was happening.
Yeah. Oh, so I never posted sex content. I've never done porn in my life at all. I've never been a prostitute in my life. I just posted like really like sexy pictures and stuff. Um, but funny enough, I get on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter as much as I am on Instagram, which is why I have more followers on Instagram. But I go on Twitter and I'm just like, the RNC just happened. And I'm like, let me see if anyone's arguing on Twitter. And I saw that people were like, oh, she has an OnlyFans and she's available right now to talk. And I'm like, no, I don't. I haven't been on OnlyFans in 2 years. And so I called my assistant, Joe, and I'm like, Joe, why does my OnlyFans say that it's available now? That was supposed to be deleted a long time ago. I haven't given any content or anything like that. And he's like, I don't know. I call my business manager. And she's like, well, we had this company that was doing all the DMs for you. And when you said you didn't want to do OnlyFans anymore, they were still doing the DMs and you were probably, I don't want to say how much I was making a month, but she was like, you were still kind of making good money every month and you weren't doing anything. And so I was like, you cannot do this to me. If I told you that I was done, it should have been deleted 2 years ago. I'm not an avid online OnlyFans person.
I refuse to believe she didn't know. And so this is what I mean. Like, no, I refuse to believe that. People have their lawyers. No, we're not going to do this. Like, we're not. Like, I mean, you could scapegoat your business partners and all that stuff as much as you want. I refuse to believe you did not know. I just, so you just don't know what's going on in your life then. You really just don't. What is going on with your name? Your imp? Okay.
And I'm not going on OnlyFans to see if my account is up there. And what's crazy is actually in my bio, and I have several links in my bio, but you have to click a certain link to go to the OnlyFans link. And I'm my own person, so I don't click my own bio, And it made me very upset, but I also didn't fire her because I was like, I know she was just trying to I have a lot of different streams of revenue that go into my accounts and stuff like that. And I know she was trying to look out, but I'm like, don't ever do that to me again. When I say it's over, it's over.
So you hadn't posted any new content for over a year.
2 years almost, I feel like. Yeah, it's definitely been over a year for sure.
There were residuals coming in via the DM or whatever. And so they had this service and they were like, look, the money's coming in. Like, what's the point of deleting this bank account essentially?
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense because I was realizing, I was like, has anybody actually signed up to see if she's posting content or if she just has an old
there's
OnlyFans
no way.
account?
No, I have not did content for OnlyFans in such a long time.
Right.
So I was just as shocked as everyone else on Twitter when it was like available now.
Candace gets to the most important question. Is it still up?
On OnlyFans, and I'm like, and they put a sale up. I mean, it's embarrassing.
You do really hear a lot of this in the industry. The more that I speak to people, and it's funny because I keep going back to Kanye, but he said so much to me that I couldn't even comprehend a couple of years ago about what's going on in Hollywood. And I think that he senses the demonism, and I think he really wanted out. Like, I think everyone was like, what's he doing? He's blowing up his life. I was like, no, I think he literally wants to blow up his life. He doesn't want a pathway back to Hollywood because he has seen it up close and he thinks that a lot of elements of it are demonic.
Yeah.
And the more that you speak to people in the industry, like hearing you say that there's this pressure, like if you want a book, this is what you have to do. Here's what you have to do. It does make you wonder why it got to be like this. You know what I mean? Like,
do you
it
know
literally
how many
doesn't have to be
times
like
I've
this.
been offered a tell-all book about Kanye and my relationships or my ex-husband, and I refuse to do it, Candace. I will never, ever, ever sell out like that. And I've been offered a lot, and I've taken punches because I choose to do other things instead of doing something like that because I feel
right. So we never got to the point of asking if the OnlyFans account was still up. Listen, okay, people are on their journeys. We are all on a journey. Okay, I will not at all represent myself right now to people and say, I am the best, I've changed so drastically and I'm not there yet. I think that you are on a journey all your life. I'm not there yet to even begin to say that. Okay. I recognize that. Um, but I'm also not going to pretend like I am, nor am I going to get people to help me pretend like I am. Candace Owens present this girl on her show, just like Republicans did, like, oh my God, you're free. Yes, everything's changed. No, I'm sure that OnlyFans account is still up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can imagine it's still up, right? It is what it is. Just don't, just be on your journey. Be on your journey. That's all I'm saying. But don't present it to me that you're on level 7 of the journey. And let's say there's 10 levels and you're already on level 7, but maybe you're just on level 3 and that's fine. That's all I'm saying. This is what's called grifting. And this is what Candace gets accused of doing a lot. But for Candace to present this girl like, yeah, she's free and everybody's changing and come like, it's just phony. It becomes phony that way. I'm not undermining her life experiences. It just becomes phony that way. Also, Republicans, please stop. They're not. So it is what it is. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.